Double Edge is an outreach ministry of Church on the Rock, 164 Madison Street, right here in beautiful Oneida, New York. If you'd like more information about our church and its ministries, feel free to check us out on the internet, www.yourcotr.com. That's www.3 W's.
That's Panamanian Devil Jeff today.
Chell. That's funny. www.yourcotr.com or give us a call on the phone, 315-280-4044. 315-280-4044. So, well, Sunday we had another Australian preacher here. I don't know what it is with us and Australians, but they like to come to our church, and I like their accent there, mate.
Please don't try it.
I can try. Are you good at Australian accents? Dennis is good at an Australian accent.
I'm better than you are.
Well, go ahead. Give me an Australian accent.
Jesus Christ is here to save.
That's Irish.
Is it? Well, it depends. I got to think about the Irish king.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'll be back.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to try anymore. You just beat me with just that one.
I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Anyway, it was great to have Adrienne here. She has, when she talks...
Co-founder of the Newsboys.
Yeah, not Adrienne, but yeah.
No, John James.
John James. She has one-liners, and she'll say something, and you'll be like, what the heck? That's stinking awesome, you know? Like, she was talking about, what's crucial to the move of God and keeping, the move of God moving in your church, right? And she's saying we can't control what God is doing, but we can protect it. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We can't control what God is doing, and nor would we want to, but we can protect it. And how do we protect the move of God? And she talked about that there's two voices, the voice of the enemy and the voice of God. I would actually say there's three voices, God, the enemy, and ourselves, our inner voice, but she's right. And one voice would lead us toward unity, which is God, and the other voice leads us towards disunity. And in order to have kind of this sustained move of God, she said this, and I thought, oh my gosh, she just put it into one little sentence. That's exactly how I feel. She said that sometimes she doesn't like using the word revival because revivals come and go. She said she'd rather be in a sustainable,
consistent.
Yeah. I thought that was really good. I mean, I love revivals. I love when people get sparked. But as a pastor, and as you're a pastor too, Nigel, you know that the church is something that's supposed to sustain. God doesn't just walk in the room and leave again. He's like, okay, it's time for revival. See you at Church on the Rock, or see you at the Presbyterian Church 10:30 a.m. on Sunday, and then 3 weeks later, I'm out of here. It's not really. I think revival is made for us to kind of get this spark, this refocus, and I see that happening all over the United States, which is pretty interesting. A lot of these college campuses are just sparking up. I don't know if you just saw the article about the University of Oklahoma, I believe.
No.
Massive revival out there, filling an arena, thousands of college students.
I think it's so hard for it to be sustained because everybody has to be on the same page. She's talking about everybody being on the same page. That's how revival happens. Yeah. The longer it would last is the longer everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately that doesn't happen. People come with their needs and things and their long week. And if, the pastor could be all fired up, a couple of the leadership people, but if everybody comes and then they're struggling, then it's just going to be like whatever. That's why I don't think you see it consistently. In my personal opinion, why it doesn't be consistently enough is because people are people.
That's true. I think it's one reason. I think another reason is I'm going to use a kind of a theological word, the disciplines. People aren't good at the disciplines. So a discipline would be reading the Bible regularly, would be one discipline. Praying regularly would be another discipline. There's a whole list of just potential disciplines, and you need to connect with God regularly if you're going to stay fired up for God, because like you said, we have this flesh that's up and down and all over the place that just makes things hard.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, you just admire those guys in the past. They got revival because all they did was be either prayer or the word. You look at Kenneth Hagin, he read the word 100 times. He just kept reading it and reading it. Yeah. And all these guys were so filled because all they did was spend time with God, like the majority of the day. And I think we also have the problem today of all these distractions. They didn't have the distractions. The more we get, there's so many distractions.
Yeah.
I mean, you even try to go on Facebook or social media, you see something, and it could grieve your spirit. Somebody else puts something down that's not godly, and then you're like, ugh. And all of a sudden, now you got to get that out of you, and then you got to get back in the world. There's so many distractions and things that hurt us from having the revival that they had, centuries ago, because I mean, there were other things that caused them not to whatever, but I also think that we have there's so many things carrying us in so many different directions. It's hard. It's very hard to be so. Nobody wanted to take like a crazy amount of time. Like 90% of my day is spending with God. That's you just don't see that.
And it's interesting too. It's like I've taken some times off. Last year I took a weekend off, and where I literally just went to a place that I go to regularly, which is Chambers Camp, and I went there for a weekend just by myself. And I love my iPad with my Bible in it. There's notes in there from like a long time, 15 years of notes are in there, right?
Right.
But I had to leave it home because I open up and I know that you can set it up so that things don't interrupt you. But I open up my Bible and I'm doing my Bible time, and then all social media is shooting me. Somebody just replied to your post. You have a text, and all these things just pulling you away from that. And they had just hardcore Bibles, like Kenneth Hagin, like you're talking about, and I've had to do that, and it was so refreshing, by the way, to go up there and do that. On the way up, I actually got a call from another church where they needed some help on the fly, and I helped them. But I was able to basically get into the camp, late Friday night, and all day Saturday, just me and the Lord, prayer walks. It was great. Saturday night, had a fire, just me. Sunday morning, all day Sunday, and then came home late Sunday night. I came back so refreshed, And I think you're right. And I think it's a challenge. I was even looking at my schedule this week, thinking, you know what, I don't have enough time this week, and my schedule got out of control this week, and I got to clear some stuff out in the next couple of days because I'm just so busy doing stuff that kind of doesn't matter half as much as some of the things that are really, really important,
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. That's really, really cool. That is so true. It's so true. We live in a world of distractions, and so we've got to find creative ways to get away from those distractions. And you got to go to work. There's things that we have to do that maybe Kenneth didn't have to do because he was just a full-time evangelist. But still. We probably could be more focused, that's for sure, But yeah, you're right. I love that. It's so true. I was just thinking about that the other day. Have you gone back and listened to any Kenneth Hagin's old YouTube messages?
Not recently.
Oh man, go back.
But I mean, I got this. 50s, 60s. I had 2 classes with him before he died. I mean, I still like to just treasure that to this day. To sit under the anointing lot there.
Yeah.
And hear his stories. You never knew where he was going. You had to have you had to very much pay attention because he'd go into the stories. He like the books that you write are not him. He didn't write it. It's basically people listening to his stories and putting it down and documenting it, kind of like the Bible being was really spoken, and then people had to write it down. Same with Kenneth Hagin. A lot of his books were people listening to him going up there and preaching and writing it down what he said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they're just writing down what his story.
By the way, those books are on Kindle for 99 cents.
Oh, yeah.
They are I've got so many books. It's so refreshing, but just, But anyway, that's a great discussion. But yeah, staying in unity is staying close to God, So when we get away from God, that's when disunity starts to